I'm Brad, and I've been a tour guide for nearly 10 years. It's been my pleasure to show the best that my country has to offer to the hundreds of guests I've hosted over the years. Now you get to be my guest as I take you on an eco tour of paradise. Okay, welcome to another exciting episode of Brad's Bahama Eco Trip. We will be showcasing some of the flowers you can find in the Bahamas. And right here we have a very iconic flower. Everybody knows these. These are called the hibiscus, otherwise known as the Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Now they also are known as the China rose and mallow. Okay, and these bear flowers year round. Okay, they can either manifest themselves as a shrub or a small tree that can actually reach heights of 15 feet tall. Okay. Now, main pollinators in flowers such as the hibiscus would be butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds. Now, the chloral stillborn ricordi is the Cuban emerald. You can oftentimes see them around these beautiful flowers. Okay, right here we have the silver trumpet tree, otherwise known as the Caribbean trumpet tree. However, this tree is not native to the Caribbean. It's Bolivia and a few other countries in South America. Now, it's also known as the Tabebuya aurea, and these beautiful bursting yellow flowers are oftentimes confused with the national tree of the Bahamas, which is a national flower of the Bahamas, sorry, which is the yellow elder. Completely different. Okay, we all, as kids growing up in the Bahamas, would have seen these from time to time. We know them as firecracker plants, also called coral fountains. But the scientific name is Rosalia equisitiformis. And these are very popular with our hummingbirds. So we get the Cuban emerald hummingbird as well as the Bahama wood star. See them short order looking for nectar from these beautiful flowers. Alright guys, what we have here is the Yucca aloifolia, or the Spanish bayonet. Now we all know traditionally bayonets were devices, knives basically placed on rifles to skewer in battle. Now these trees were and still are used as a defense or a security in front of windows at homes, because their leaves are very pointed, very serrated. You don't want to fall on one of these trees. It won't end well. Right here we have the Nerium oleander. These come in pink as well as white, the flowers on this tree or plant, and they're native to Australia. Now bear in mind the oleander is toxic, all right, so you want to keep it away from children and animals because enough of the toxin ingested can be very harmful. But they do produce a very beautiful flower, and they're relatively drought tolerant. These little guys are often considered weeds. They're known as the Biden's alba. There's also another species called the Biden's pilosa, but we call them shepherd's needles or Spanish needles. All right. They usually grow wild. They don't really need to be planted. Okay, guys. Next up, we have the Calliandra hematocephala, otherwise known as the powder puff. These are native to Bolivia as well, and they have a nice, beautiful, very, very dainty blossom on them. They are oftentimes pink, think reddish pink. All right, and they do have a cousin that we're going to point out a little later. Very, very similar. Not to be confused with this one in particular, though. Okay, guys, right here. These are oftentimes confused with the powder puff because their blossoms look almost identical. This is the Calliandra areophylla, okay? Not to be confused with the Calliandra hematocephala. Hematocephala is native to South America, Bolivia particularly, but Calliandra areophyllus can be found in arid grasslands like New Mexico and Texas. So these do very well in relatively xerotropic conditions. Right here we have the Ipomoea purpurea, or the common morning glory. Now Ipomoea means worm-like, so these are vine flowering plants that creep up trees. They can actually make vines up to 15 feet high. We find these very common in the shrubs in the basically the coppice areas, even in the pine forest. There's the Bougainvillea glabra. We touched on these earlier in a previous segment. Again, remember the flower is a very small, ethereal little blossom. It's always white, but the bracts on the Bougainvillea come in a range of different colors. I'm glad I got to share this part of my home with you. If you've enjoyed the tour, be sure to click the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll see you on our shore soon.